Hey, family, what it do? It's your girl Toot, and I am back, Jack. Shout out to y'all, man. Who is y'all? Y'all. I love y'all. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. That's all you got to do to support the channel. Now, listen, if you're just tuning in, I want you to understand that we have been reviewing some of the NAZIYAH preliminary hearing. There was people that I missed. I think it was upwards of 6 people that we have reviewed this week. And then we looked at some transcripts that we had never seen before, mainly by Shannon's sister's daughter, Brooklyn. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That was some gut wrenching ass testimony that I heard from an 8-year-old. What was uncovered from that testimony was the fact that Jarvis was in fact sleeping with his own daughter, Janiyah, who at the time would have been younger than NAZIYAH. Y'all, we got a serious issue going on in this family. There's many victims in this house besides NAZIYAH. And I want everybody, bro, when you think about NAZIYAH, think about Janiyah too. Because unlike NAZIYAH, she was also a victim, but ain't nobody saying nothing about her. Okay? So keep her in your prayers, because Lord have mercy, I can only imagine the trauma that she would be into right now. And then the fact that your mama and daddy is the ones that's on, man, I can't imagine it. So keep that little girl in your prayers, man, because I'm telling you, it's real out here. Now, we're about to get into Jarvis's sister testimony. And the reason why we're really doing so is because we just got finished looking at King's testimony. And we have a lot of discrepancies when it come down to a lot of shit. Questions about the 9th and the 10th. We know that we know NAZIYAH went to school for a fact on the 9th. We know that she got on the bus for the fact on the 9th. We know that she got off the bus for a fact on the 9th. We know that she made it to Jarvis' shop for a fact on the 9th. We know that she traveled to Ypsilanti for the fact of the 9th on the 9th. Now, according to King's testimony and his tether, we know that they made it back to the shop on the 9th, okay? And we know around that time frame, it had to be roughly around 8:30-ish, 8:45-ish, because he was on tether, and without explanation, he had to be home at 9. With the type of work that he was doing, there would have been no reason for him to be late. So we do know that King made it home by 9, and he said that he left NAZIYAH and Jarvis at the shop. Okay, so from 9 o'clock on, something bad happened. All right, we're finna get into TIJUANA's testimony right now. Let's get into it.
Good afternoon. Could you please state your name for the record?
TIJUANA Butts.
And how old are you, Ms. Butts?
46.
And do you know someone named Jarvis Butts?
Yes,
And how is it that you know him?
he's my brother.
Okay. How old is Jarvis Butts?
42.
And do you know his birthday?
Yes,
When's his birthday?
November 21st, 1982.
And do you see Jarvis Butts in the courtroom today?
I saw him walking in.
Okay. And can you point to him and tell me the color of the clothing that he's wearing?
He has on, I believe it's dark green shirt. He's sitting behind the lady to the side of you.
And Your Honor, would the record reflect when he says identify the defendant in this case?
So reflected, and just to be clear, you said I saw him walking in. You saw him when you were walking in or when he was walking in?
When I was walking in just now.
Thank you.
And Ms. Butts, where did you know Jarvis to work?
He worked at a shop on Warren and F, called Frank's, and then he moved to a shop on Hopper and Counters. I don't know the name of it.
And Ms. Butts, do you remember talking to Detroit police back on February 26th of 2024?
Yes,
And what's the reason that you went and talked to Detroit police?
I had reason to believe that I saw NAZIYAH.
Okay, so now we got something different. King was actually questioned first Because here's the thing, Tawana actually would have been non-existent. When we just watched King's testimony, he didn't even mention seeing her that day. So her coming forth was on her own accord. Now it looks to me that King got questioned on February 13th. She went and talked to the police. I think she just said February 26th. Now, that could be because after she started seeing the pictures of NAZIYAH, she went to them. Now, at this point, at the time that she went to King, King should have known about Jarvis's true charges at that time.
The day she went missing.
Tell me about that. What makes you believe that you saw NAZIYAH on the day she went missing?
Where do you want me to start this alive?
So, from the very beginning, where is it that you think you saw NAZIYAH?
At the shop on Harbor and Connors.
Okay, and whose shop is
My brother Jarvis Butts and his partner.
Okay. What's the reason you were at your brother's shop that day?
Something was wrong with.
Y'all saying y'all can't hear her? Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can find one that's a little bit higher. Give me a second. Two seconds. Give me a sec. It's so many of these. This is why I fucking
Yes, your name. Could you please state your name for the record?
Let me just check this out. Hold on 1 second. It's so many of these. That's why sometimes you gotta check it. Let me know. Let me know if you can hear this one better, y'all.
And I just needed him to check it out to make sure it was safe for me to drive.
Is that one better?
Ms. Butts, do you remember talking to Detroit police back on February 26th of 2024?
Yes.
And what's the reason that you went and talked to Detroit police?
I had reason to believe that I saw NAZIYAH the day she went missing.
Tell me about that. What makes you believe?
It almost looked like this lady about to throw up. My heart breaks for her. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, bro, for so many different reasons. I mean, it takes a lot to go against your family. But what happened was she's a mother first. So that trumped everything. But while she's talking, you could see it looked like she's about to... She showed more emotion to me. So far, in 7 minutes, she has showed more emotion to me than Annette and Shannon combined.
Believe that you saw NAZIYAH on the day she went missing.
Where do you want me to start this alive?
So, from the very beginning, where is it that you think you saw NAZIYAH?
At the shop on Harbor and Connors.
Okay, and whose shop is that?
My brother Jarvis Butts and his partner.
Okay. What's the reason you were at your brother's shop that day?
Something was wrong with the car that I was driving, and I just
Tupac's
needed
wife. Thank you, boo.
to check it out to make sure it was safe for me to drive.
Do you recall about what time did you go to Jarvis's shop that day?
About 4 p.m. Give or
Okay.
take a few minutes.
Okay, and around what time did you leave?
Somewhere between 6 and 6:30.
Okay. And what is it that you noticed while you were at the shop?
So it's a car, like garage. So I was sitting outside of the shop in my car because they were working on another car on the inside. As I sat there for the time that I was there, I kept seeing a little girl get in and out of his truck, going to the gas station and going back to his car.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop you right there. Whose car are we talking about?
My brother.
Okay, and what kind of car was it?
Believe the Cadillac Escalade.
Okay. Do you remember what color?
Kind of like a pearl white, off white clean color.
Okay, and you said you described this as a two garage.
Love on the brain. It's been confirmed that, and I think she's gonna say it in this testimony. That's why I'm kind of happy that we're reviewing it. She thought that NAZIYAH was King's niece because that's what Jarvis told her. I think she's gonna say it in this testimony, and we're gonna see it in a minute.
Shop?
Yes.
Okay. And I want to approach for people's Exhibit 7.
Okay.
Now, Ms. Books, do you recognize what is it we're looking at in People's Exhibit 7?
Yes.
Okay, what is that?
That is the shop
Okay.
right in the middle.
And where at were you parked when you saw someone getting in and out of Jarvis' truck?
In front of the car doors, both the garage right here, I was parked facing, I don't know what direction it is, but going towards direction. I was like in front, but outside.
Okay, so you were kind of parked parallel with the road.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you draw a T where your truck was?
My car?
Yes, your car was. Yes.
Yeah, and what was Jarvis's
And
truck?
then put an arrow the way you were facing. And where is it where that Jarvis's truck was? Just put a J where Jarvis's truck was.
And how he was a facing?
And what way was his truck facing?
Facts.
It was facing my
Put the arrow on there.
front was
Towards you. Okay, so put an arrow for that direction. Okay.
Yeah, let us see it.
Now, do you get a look at this little girl that you see getting in and out of his car?
I saw her, as she was walking. I never saw her face.
Did you see any clothing?
I did.
Okay. Did anything about the clothing stick out to you that you remember?
I just remember her having on a colorful jacket.
Okay. And what door, which side do you remember seeing her getting in and out of Jarvis's truck? Or did it change?
I don't really remember.
Okay, that's okay. So you said you mostly remember a jacket, a colorful jacket.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm going to show you what's marked as People's Exhibit 2, which is already admitted, and People's Proposed Exhibit 10. You understand my approach?
Yes.
And you do what's marked as People's Exhibits 2 and 10. Okay.
To answer your question to what I know, I don't think that she was adamant of who the child was getting out in and out of the car. This was a day where it was raining, and it's her brother's car, but her brother tells her that this is King's niece. It's probably one of those type of things you're just looking to see, like, what the fuck? You know, I don't know if that was the case, but that's just what it seemed like to me. But let's keep going and shit. Now, I'm going to be real. I know my brothers. I got brothers and sisters. I got 3 brothers, 3 sisters, okay? And I'm going to be real. I don't know everything about them. I'm just keeping it a stack. We all are grown-ups and we all have our own individual lives, and some of them have children. When we talk on the phone, we focus on certain shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. I have never just been at my house and Googled my brothers. Unless they got locked up and I was privy to what they got locked. My brother got locked up when I was in Detroit, and I didn't even know it until I got back. And the only reason I knew it is because he told me. So when a lot of people saying that people got to know what people are, when they're not living in the same houses. Miss me with that. A person is not going to be privy to everything you got going on with your siblings. That's just a fact. Some siblings of mine I talk to more than I talk to others, and I don't know everything about them. I'm not going to sit here on this internet and act like I do. If something happened right now with one of my brothers, God forbid, and they was what this nigga was, I wouldn't have had a clue. And that's a fact. They live in a state, I live in a state. They live in a city that I don't see them every day to know what the fuck they got going on every single day. So there's certain things that I wouldn't be privy to. So unless I was just at home and I said, let me see if my brother is in the registry, there's just certain things that I won't know. So when a lot of people is saying that people should know, yes, people probably should know. But let's also keep it a stack and not act like everybody that's brothers and sisters are like brothers and sisters who you see every day. That's not the fact. We don't know everything. We don't know everything. And now that Big Mama ain't in the houses like she used to be. See, grandmothers ain't grandmamas nowhere. Big Mama house used to be the funnel for all of that shit. Oh, you know that so-and-so kid has got locked up because he was messing with them children. We don't got Big Mamas no more. Because we in this era now where everybody minds their business. Now grandmamas is in the club with their mamas. You know what I'm saying? With the mamas. So how we used to get information, it just ain't the way that it used to be. So let's just keep this shit real when we doing these vids, y'all. Y'all know I'm not gonna come short. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. A lot of y'all are saying she should have known. Y'all don't know about y'all folks. You don't. Stop it. Stop it for real. Stop.
Do you recognize anything in those photos?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
What is it that you recognize?
Right here, this jacket.
And for the record, you're pointing up in channel 1, and you recognize this like pink colorful jacket?
Yes.
Okay. And that's in People's Exhibit 10. I already moved the admission. People proposed Exhibit 10 as Exhibit 10. Is that a fair and accurate depiction of the jacket that you saw that day?
Yes.
I move for the proposed People's Exhibit 10.
Any objection?
No objection.
Okay, it'll be admitted as People's Exhibit 10.
Okay. And in People's 2, is that also where is what you recognize People's Exhibit 2?
Looks like channel 2 here, maybe.
Okay. Facing the back?
Yeah.
Okay. And
I wish we could see that good. They ain't putting that up on a chart.
It's a little blurry, but it's just
Okay. And what about in channel 1 of Exhibit 2?
It'll be this one right here.
Okay, and it's fair to say that's the back of a jacket? It seems to be the back of a jacket? Okay. Thank you. And you said that you saw this little girl with this jacket on getting in and out going into the gas station?
Yes.
Okay. Did you
It looked like one of the pictures they showed was the one on the was with one on the bus. I was trying to zoom in, I almost broke my eyeball trying to look in the pictures.
know who this little girl was at the time?
No.
Okay. Is there a time that you ever get out of your car?
Yes.
And what do?
I needed to use the restroom, so I asked his partner if I could use the restroom. He told me to go and tell him in the gas station. And as I was walking towards the gas station, she was walking in front of me going into the gas station.
Okay. So about how far?
Hold on, y'all, because I hold on 1 second, because see now I'm involved a lot. Let's go, because I'm trying to put into the mind frame how she wouldn't be able to see her. Now we got to keep in mind it was raining this day, and I don't know if she had a hood on, but let's just look at this real quick. All right, so we're gonna look at this together real quick. So she said that she was parked. Let me move my thing. She said that she was parked kind of here, but facing this way. So I can't move my mouse, but look at the direction of the hand. She's facing this way. Jarvis' car was parked backwards, facing up. So she's saying, so that would have put her on the right side and NAZIYAH would have been on this side. So she said that when NAZIYAH was walking to the store, she would have been, let's go down a little bit more. She would have been roughly here. So let's say how we got the arrow right now is how her car would have been parked parallel with the street. This nigga car is backwards, okay? From the way that they explain, kind of pulled up here, parked where the tail end would be facing the garage. Now, she said when NAZIYAH got out the car, that would put NAZIYAH roughly here. Now, let's follow NAZIYAH going into the store, going this way. She would have got out of her car and been behind NAZIYAH. So there is a quite possible way that she couldn't see NAZIYAH in her entirety, but seen her face like that, but just seen her frame, the jacket, and everything else. All right, I'm a visual nigga. I gotta look at shit in a different way. I'm sorry, but okay, now we on the same thing. Let's get back to it.
In front of you, what's she?
I would say maybe where the gentleman in the gray blazer is behind you. Maybe a little bit further, I'm not really sure about that distance.
From where you are to him?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I haven't really got estimates.
20, 25 feet?
I would agree about 20, 25 feet. And
Yep.
you never got a chance to see this little girl's face?
No.
Okay. Was there anything else about her that you can remember?
I just remember her being kind of small, like outside of just seeing her get in and out of the car. When I was walking towards her, I was like, she's tiny, and I just remembered the coat.
Okay. Tiny, like in what way? Like tiny, skinny, short?
Kind of skinny and short.
Okay. And did you ever ask Jarvis who the little girl was?
Yes.
And what did he tell you?
He told me, and I can't remember if it was this exact word, or he said it's my partner's niece, or he said it was King's niece.
Okay.
But
You knew who he was referring to?
yes.
Okay. Did you think anything of it at the time?
No.
Okay. And what is it that made you think something? Was there a time where you thought something different?
Yes.
Okay. What is it that made you think something different?
I received phone call, a video call from one of his kids' mom, and she told me about some things that happened on Valentine's Day, and then she sent me a video of a podcast about my brother.
Okay. And what did you do as a result of receiving those things?
I called Shannon and I asked her for Sergeant Jones' phone number.
Okay. And who's the Shannon that you called?
His kid's mom.
Shannon Harris?
Yes.
Okay. Do you do anything before you go and talk to Sergeant Jones?
Yes.
Okay. What is it that you do?
Okay, so after having a conversation with Shannon Harris and his other kid's mom, I was informed that his partner King, I guess something happened where the
Objection, this is hearsay.
No, we need
Not a
to.
statement yet, Judge.
He informed us. I'm not sure what she's even about to say.
Me too, and I need to know.
She said that it's informed of someone else's statement. You're going to have to object in a couple moments.
Yeah, let her get a little bit more out. You was informed that King what?
his partner King, I guess something happened where the
Objection, this is hearsay.
Something happened where the shop what?
Statement yet, Judge.
He informed us. I'm not sure what she's even about to say. Okay, just to the extent that it's informed of someone else's statement. You're going to have to object in a couple moments. You need to speak up. If you can stand up and make your objection.
Yes.
Did the store have cameras? They probably did. But here's the thing, right? We're 30 days late. NAZIYAH went missing on January 9th. Detroit Police Department did not get the case until February something, which means whatever cameras that might have been in the area, 9 times out of 10 would have been taped over after 45, 30-something days. So that's what the problem was with a lot of the situation, that they was 30 days behind already.
Just objecting to the fact that she was informed of something. It appears this might be hearsay.
Oh,
Yeah.
could you finish what you were saying? I don't
Please.
know where you're going with this.
I'm trying to remember where I left. Okay, so after talking to Shannon Harris and his other kid's mom, I was informed of some things that had taken place I think Valentine's Day, so they told me that his partner King
Okay, so at this point, this is hearsay.
What happened was, let me fill in the blanks, because now it's making sense. On Valentine's Day, King was questioned on February 13th. So I'm willing to bet you believe somebody said, hey, King just went, they just brought King down. Now, you know, they said that they had went to the shop to get King and brought King down to the station to be interviewed. So I'm willing to bet that word of mouth got back around, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, that King got locked up. So she probably like, hey, that's probably what she heard. Hey man, I'm hearing that King got locked up. That's when I think that she's about to finish saying, but of course it's gonna be hearsay.
They told me, and a lack of personal knowledge, the things that she was informed of.
Can I finish?
One second. What is an objection?
I'm sorry.
The witness has to stop talking.
So, based on those, do you go and talk to someone else?
Yes.
Okay. Who do you go and talk to?
His partner King
Okay. And where is it that you go and talk to King at?
at the shop on Harbor and Commerce.
Okay. And without telling me what King said, kind of describe what was your conversation about?
Well, I went to see what happened and what was going on. During that time, I told him that I had never seen any little girl at my brother's shop besides my nieces, outside of the little girl that I saw getting out of his truck that day.
Okay.
And you told this to who?
King.
Okay.
And who is King again?
His business partner.
Okay. And do you know his government name?
I believe it's Cordero or something like that. I just always call him King.
Okay. So you went and told him that you hadn't seen anyone out.
Alicia, Briones, we definitely should start that, because this is sickening to me. Because the time was very crucial in this case, and the way people responded to time, I've never seen no shit like this in my life, especially when there's a child involved. I don't even understand why a child 13 there was not an Amber Alert, especially after on the 10th. When you know she didn't come to school, I just feel like they pick and choose when they do those alerts. That's weird as hell to me.
To shop besides your nieces and then the one little girl you saw that one day?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ask him about that little girl?
Well, I didn't ask him about it. After I said that to him, he told me.
Objection, Your Honor, this is going to be hearsay again.
Judge, it's going to go to the effect on the listener.
There could be an exception. I don't know what she's saying. So you might as well just stay standing up. Go ahead, say what you're going to say.
After I mentioned to him that I had only saw my nieces and one particular little girl, he then told me that that was NAZIYAH that I saw that day and I was there.
I would object then, given now that she has testified to that it is hearsay, that it is being introduced for the truth.
And Judge, I would say that it's actually a statement of identification.
So this is not an identification that she personally made, she's just being told.
And she saw NAZIYAH that day, so it's...
Yeah, I mean, that proves the thing. If she's seen a figure with a coat on, you know what I'm saying? they have every right to identify who that person was. I mean, she's been identified through her coat the whole time. So I don't understand how that could be an objection. These motherfuckers, shut up.
She didn't know who it was. I mean, she had no idea who this was. That's
She
not
didn't know
her
who it was.
identification.
So it is hearsay.
Okay.
That's
So,
weird.
Without saying what King said, were you informed of anything about a little girl that you saw on January 9th, 2024?
Yes.
Okay. And to your knowledge, Jarvis had told you that that was King's niece.
Yes.
Okay. And
I ain't even gonna hold you. I think that nigga King was mad as hell. Here it is. King has already been drugged down to the police station. He's still on tether, February 13th. He's scared as hell that being drugged down to the police station, he already gonna get violated. Now here she come. Like, yo, you know, was that your niece? Because I remember seeing this little girl at the gas station that damn day. This your niece? King, like, who the fuck said some shit? See, I could almost feel how that conversation went. And that makes me so, because see, it was right then when TIJUANA probably recognized that her brother probably was involved. Because it would have been no reason to lie and say it was that man's, you know what I'm saying, that man's niece if he didn't do anything. It was a reason you lied about it from the jump. Why? You feel me? So I could definitely see how that conversation went.
when you talked to King, did you have reason to not believe what Jarvis told you?
Yes.
Tony King, that's a very interesting point. Now, because we do know that for a fact that them messages where she was sending to Jarvis on her last day was from the tablet. Now, King did say on the stand that she was on her phone. So how would Shannon and Annette would have got her phone if the phone was with NAZIYAH the night that she went missing? Because King did say she was on her phone. We do know the tablet that she motherfucking was texting Jarvis on her last day was the school's tablet. So then how would they have got the phone if she never went home? That's interesting.
Do you know
Interesting.
your nieces from Jarvis? That is a poorly worded question. I am sorry. If that was your niece, would you have recognized her that day?
Yes.
Okay. And you did not recognize this little girl as your niece, did you?
No.
Okay. So what is it that you did after speaking with King that day?
I called Shannon Harrison. I asked her for Sergeant Jones' phone number.
Okay. And did you eventually talk to Sergeant Jones?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. What day was it that you went to the shop and saw the little girl?
Can I ask you a question? I didn't remember the exact day at that time.
Okay. What is it that makes you believe that it was NAZIYAH Harris that you saw on that day?
I'm not quite sure how to answer what you're asking me. Like,
That may be a poorly worded question. I'm sorry.
Hypothetical question. NAZIYAH had supposedly got off the bus at 2:40, close to 3. From Annette's and Shannon's testimony, they felt like something was off even around 6 o'clock when the other kids got from the after school program. They made it a point to say that was when it sparked an alarm. What if, or I'm not even going to say what if, do you think that Shannon and or Annette, when they said they was looking for NAZIYAH, do you think the shop is a place that they might have looked first? Do you think that Shannon might have parked there or parked somewhere near the shop to see if Jarvis would have been with NAZIYAH? Do y'all see that happening with Shannon? I just want to know. I want to know real quick. I mean, what would you think? And that was my thing, Nova, baby, because if you're used to the kids going with Jarvis to go help out, I mean, if your child wasn't missing, wouldn't you just ride up to the shop? Because we know that NAZIYAH was in walking distance between the shop and going home. Because she said that one time she walked by the shop. I don't know, what the fuck. But we know, like, wouldn't you just drive up there? Wouldn't you? Like, wouldn't you? I want to know.
Ms. Butts, did you come to learn of the day that you had gone to Jarvis's shop by going through the locations on your phone?
Yes.
Okay. And that's the day that you don't remember off the top of your head right now, but it is revealed in your phone locations?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. One second.
Damn, this shit. I don't like none of these bean pot head ass niggas. I really don't like Shannon or Jarvis because they pissing me off because I'm really having a ping pong contest on which one of these motherfuckers did it. I'm trying to just make some shit make sense. And I'm just not understanding why the thing that's sticking out to me on Shannon's testimony is the way she swallowed and looked like she was about to hurl when they asked her about her reaching out to Jarvis to inform him that NAZIYAH was missing. The way that she responded just sit very eerie to me. Number 2, she swore in her testimony that she tried calling Jarvis. He did not answer. So if he did not answer, you know what I mean? How could you have told him that NAZIYAH went missing? Now, if there was a voicemail associated with that phone call, it would have been shown in the records the same way Instagram, Facebook, and everything else showed up when there was a forensic. So how would your first text message to Jarvis be still no tutor? Is it just me? Is that not bothersome to me? To y'all? I really need somebody. And can somebody please, Si, can you email me NAZIYAH's last text messages to Jarvis? Because there's something else that I want to see. Do y'all understand where I'm coming? She said that she called this man when NAZIYAH first went missing and he did not answer the phone. The phone records did not show that a voicemail was being left, but it shows everything else. So we know she didn't even leave a voicemail to say, hey, Jarvis, I'm only calling you, you know what I'm saying, because we ain't found NAZIYAH. That does not exist. But then the first message you'll send him is still no tutor. So that makes me feel like y'all might have been having a conversation somewhere else on some other device, because that ain't making sense to me. Hi, Shashalu. Other device or in person, fucking right, Nova. And it seems like to me, still no tutor, and I'm just being honest, y'all, still no tutor will be protecting her more than Jarvis. Because it's making it seem like she don't know where she's at. See, this motherfucker start to look more wrong and wrong every day, but let's keep going, y'all. Tammy, you asked a question that somebody else asked earlier. A lot of people are saying, where's the camera footage? The camera footage is the Detroit Public Schools and the Detroit Police Department straight problem. Because the reason why there's probably not a lot of camera footage is because Detroit Police Department started late. Janiyah went missing on January 9th. Her files sat on a desk until February 12th or 11th. Somewhere that way. So whatever cameras and shit that might have been wasn't anymore by the time they got on it. And usually when you have establishments like stores and gas stations, they're on a loop to where sometimes they'll do 7 days and then they'll do it, you know what I mean? Or even 48 hours I seen, you know what I mean? They re-loop. So whatever probably would have been able to be kept that day probably was non-existent. Now, Ring cameras, I know with mine, I could be able to go depending on if I got the plan. If you ain't got the plan, you can only go back so far. So they ran out of time. Big time. The motherfuckers got a 30-day head start.
When is it that you went through your phone locations to determine the date? I'm sorry, do you need a moment?
While everybody is saying that this lady should have known Jarvis, you can't say that. Jarvis's bitches would have known Jarvis more than his sister would. She knows him as her brother. She don't fuck him. Okay? I'm sorry to sound a real crass, but I gotta say this. This lady didn't have to say shit. If she wanted to protect her brother, all she had to do was be quiet. She reached out to Sergeant Jones because she remembers seeing that little girl. All she had to do was just be quiet. King never mentioned her being at the shop on January 9th. He probably didn't remember her because half of the time, like she said in her car. So when y'all saying there's things that she should have known, you got to balance that. If she knew a lot of shit, she wouldn't be telling on this nigga. If you really want to be honest, she's probably the one that put the icing on the cake. To incriminate this nigga. That's just a fact. I know that we emotional about this shit and we feel like there's a lot of things that we should have known, but the reality is, bro, when it come down to our siblings, we don't really know a lot of what we think we should. No, we don't. And I'm just being realistic. Now, if some people in here want to be realistic with me, you let me know. I know my brother, but I don't know if my brother is out here doing some shit he ain't supposed to do neither, unless he get caught. And as you can see, when our brother got caught, he lied about a lot of shit. So, bro, what the fuck ever. All I know is I just got finished watching 15 testimonies from the Detroit Police Department, from everybody that we've seen so far, even Annette and Shannon. This lady right here and the substitute teacher was the only two people that I seen in this whole entire preliminary that showed empathy. This lady is crying more than Annette and Shannon did. That is the red flag right the fuck there. Why is she emotional And they ain't. Y'all gotta help me with this shit, y'all. I know we supposed to be mad at his family and shit. But no, nigga, I'm mad at NAZIYAH's family. That's who the fuck I'm pissed off. This lady over here about to have a heart attack about this little girl. The fuck? Shannon on them motherfuckers was on this stand and I ain't see not one emotion. The fuck? Nah, that's the red flag to me. Nah. They ain't making no sense. This lady heart is breaking. Doing the right thing ain't always easy. That gotta be heartbreaking. Your little brother, who you always knew as your little brother.
When you went through your qualifications to determine the date. I'm sorry, do you need a moment?
If my brothers is watching this reaction, which I know 2 out of 3 do, I'm letting y'all know beforehand. If y'all do some hoe ass shit like this, I'm TIJUANA. I'm on the stand crying, but I'm telling on your ass. So I'm probably not the sibling that you want to talk to about shit, because I'm taking you down. Facts. I'm taking you down. Shit. I am her.
I believe February.
You know what the sad part is? A lot of women ain't TIJUANAs. Let that shit sink in your noggin.
Okay, that's when you would have.
There's women, sisters, and mothers that know what these niggas be and wouldn't do this.
In your interview with Sergeant Jones.
Yes.
Okay. And did you give Sergeant Jones permission to look at your location data?
Yes.
Okay. And your phone kind of extraction in general? Like to go through your phone for the data?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing else, Judge.
So you go to the shop where your brother works periodically, right?
From time to time, yes.
You've been there prior to the day we've been talking about today?
Yes.
A couple of times at least?
Yes.
And you've been back there after?
Yes.
But the day we've been talking about, that's the only time you ever saw a child there?
That was the only time I saw a child I didn't recognize.
Okay, so you had seen other children there before?
Yes.
Okay. When you say that you recognize, these are who exactly?
My nieces.
And when you first arrived at the shop that day, Jarvis told you that he wasn't going to be able to work on your car?
No.
No? Did you ask him if he'd be able to?
Judge, I think this calls for hearsay. They can't even statements of the defendant.
I'm looking more so for her own statement, actually.
For her what?
Let's start with her own statement.
Okay.
Did you ask him right away if he would be able to work on your car?
I talked to him prior to coming to the shop.
Before you arrived, you asked if he could work on your car that day?
I asked him to look at my car that day.
Okay. Did you arrive at the shop with the understanding that he would or would not be able to?
I arrived at the shop knowing that he was going to look at my car.
Okay. One moment. And was that via text or call or some other way?
Probably video call.
Okay, so a video call a little bit before you headed over?
Earlier in the day, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what time.
Okay, so that's how you decided that you'd go over later.
He told me I could come.
Judge, this is kind of all calling for hearsay in the back door way.
The response is hearsay. Not
Yeah.
that she necessarily asked for it, but it's hearsay.
Sure, we can keep
Sure.
it her own. So to be clear, we don't need to talk about what he said to you. but you did a video call to him. And in that...
Yeah, man. When he found out that she was missing, this nigga gonna tell me some, oh, wow. Nigga, if you don't shut your... Thank you so much for the anonymous gifted, boo.
You asked if he could work on your car.
You keep saying work on my car. I said look at my car.
Okay, look at your car. But you asked him personally in the video call.
Yes.
Okay. And that was maybe that morning?
I don't remember what time of day it was, but it was before I went to him.
Boy, that Detroit about to come out of her ass.
Okay. And as you were saying, this day, I think you said you saw some other children there at other times, but this particular child, you only ever saw this child on this particular day.
Yes.
And the whole time you were there, from your testimony and from that police interview, you said that you never saw her face.
Yes.
And then you did also see some news stories about this case.
Yes.
Yeah, in the podcast that you talked about. Like, there was some podcasts.
I had already saw her on the news, but I did not know who she was.
Sure. But that was, by seeing those stories, that's how you started to think.
Well, I was sent the podcast after some other things that was told to me. That's when I received the podcast.
So initially, between...
So let me fill in the blanks because she can't do hearsay. She watched the podcast after she was told that there was a situation that happened at a party. Now, we've already heard about this a lot. We know that there was somebody touched at a party, okay? And that's what struck a lot of the alarms. Now, because of that party, Shannon was informed to tell, okay? So after she got privy, it was said at this party that he touched somebody. She then watched the podcast about NAZIYAH. And I believe that's what started ringing the bells, because you got to keep in mind, Jarvis told King nor his sister that this girl was missing. Jarvis worked with him and never knew that this so-called niece was missing, okay? So a lot of people didn't even know about NAZIYAH being missing, you know what I mean, or whatever, until after they seen, and let me be real, after they seen YouTube coverage and podcasts. Because let me also inform you with something. There was a lot of people, and there's a lot of people in Detroit, and I quote, that was in Detroit, that didn't even know about NAZIYAH. So when everybody think that's just because we're on the family and YouTube, you know, that everybody should have known, that's not the truth. YouTube and content creators is probably been keeping NAZIYAH more relevant than the police department and everybody the fuck else. So a lot of people think just because NAZIYAH went missing in Detroit that they were getting episodes of the news reporting on NAZIYAH. No, that was not the case. Let me explain to you. A lot of people knew about NAZIYAH from Crimes of the D. Seeing her flyer, and she was the only person that was not being recovered. There was many children around the time that NAZIYAH went missing. I'm talking about, I thought people were stealing kids. You would see a child missing or running away every day on Crimes of the D. Let me know if you follow that, because it's the truth. I can't make this type of shit up. I remember when I seen NAZIYAH's flyer, but it was accompanied by so many kids who was picking this time to run away. The thing was, the flyers of the people who was coming back home would come back found at home. But then the next month ago, and it's NAZIYAH again. And in my brain, I'm like, they still ain't found this baby. A lot of people think just because you are in a city that you are privy to this shit. No. When it comes down to black and brown children, we are going to be the least televised on this news. The only reason, and I quote, the only reason NAZIYAH started getting the coverage that she was doing is because people had boots on the ground and bringing this shit to social media. That's why I tell y'all, social media is better than police, prosecution, all of that shit. You want something to be seen or heard, you put it here. It's different. And that's just the honest to God truth.
The day you were at the shop, right? And then until you started to see that news, at first, you didn't make this connection that maybe she was anyone in particular.
Not at all.
Okay. And then through seeing that news, those podcasts, that's when you started to think She
No,
was.
that's not the reason why I thought that.
No, but that's the timing, or it's not?
I guess you could say that.
That's when you started to, at least when you saw those things, that's when you started to wonder.
I was wondering before I saw the podcast.
Okay, in your police interview that you did, did you tell them that at first when you saw the news you didn't really make a connection because of not having seen her face?
Yes.
Okay. So that interview was on February 26, 2024, right?
Yes.
And you were having some trouble remembering some of the specific details from January 9th at that point?
Not so much as remembering maybe the order I remembered it in.
Okay. Were there some times, at least though, when you were asked some questions and some details that you had to say, I can't remember some things?
I can't remember now.
Okay. Would you agree that at least
Like,
it is?
it's been a night.
Okay. I
I
was just saying.
probably did. I guess it would be safe to say because I didn't know.
Okay, so you think it's safe to say that at that point in time, there are at least some details you were having a hard time, some questions you couldn't answer.
I can't disagree.
Okay. And it was pretty close in time, shortly before that police interview, that was when you first started to think that maybe this girl you'd seen at the shop had been NAZIYAH Harris.
Can you repeat that?
So the first time you started to think that maybe that child, the one you saw, maybe that was NAZIYAH Harris, that was pretty close in time to the police interview.
Maybe about a week or so before.
Okay. I believe, does it sound right to you that I think you told the police that it was on the Thursday prior to the interview?
Whatever the Thursday was after Valentine's Day.
Okay. So probably February 22nd. That was the Thursday prior to your interview.
Okay.
She getting pissed off because
And
bitch,
then
what you?
when you were at the shop, you primarily saw this child while she was inside a truck, right?
I didn't know it was a child in the truck until she kept getting out.
Okay, but when you saw her, she was in a truck?
I saw her getting out the truck, yes.
And were you inside your vehicle?
Yes.
You arrived in the daylight, right?
Yes.
And that's, I think, what you're referring to, right? Initially, that's when you didn't yet know somebody was in the truck.
Can you say that again?
So at the beginning, when you first got there, right, you didn't know right away that somebody was in the truck.
No, I didn't.
I think you had said before, because it was so light outside, it was a bit difficult to see into the truck.
I wasn't really paying attention to his truck. He was outside of it.
Sure. And then in your police interview, you referred to then seeing a light in the truck, and that's when you started to see somebody?
Yeah. That's when the door opened.
Okay, so there's a light turned on, and at the same
Bitch, you got a car. You know once you open the door, the light come on. See, this type of question, what they doing here, and I want y'all to understand how stupid the judicial system is. They're not doing this to ask questions. They doing this to aggravate a nigga. So then whatever testimony she's giving is no longer credible. That's what this is all about, and it pisses me off too. I'm mad for this lady. The fuck.
time the door open?
That's the reason the light was on.
Okay, because the truck door was open. Yes.
Sure.
And you said that you saw a couple different times her go back and forth to the gas station?
Yes.
And only one of those different times you were on your way to the gas station as well.
Yes.
But for that whole time, she remained in front of you?
When I was going into the gas station, she was in front of me. When I walked into the gas station, she went to the left, I went straight, and over to the right.
For that walk over to the gas station, was it getting dark at that point?
It was already dark.
Okay.
And just to let you guys know, yes, it was roughly around 4, 5-ish. And you got to also understand that it was raining that day. So it was an overcast. So you know how it be when it's rainy out. It's going to appear darker than it normally would. Second thing, we've all seen Jarvis's car. It had some severe heavy tints on it. So on a day like that, I know I got tints on my car too. If I'm sitting in my car, a lot of the times a nigga won't know I'm in it. You feel me? So it is quite possible she didn't know that nobody was in the car until the door opened. Because if I'm somewhere waiting on somebody to fix my car, and I'm just trying to put myself in the shoes of her, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to take that time and park, and I'm going to be on my phone, and I'm going to be scrolling. I'm really not looking at nobody until there is a being or something that crosses my path to make me want to look up. And even when I'm looking up, I'm not really paying them attention. So a lot of people think that her testimony is a little far-fetched, but to me, it really isn't. But we gonna keep going. Let's go.
And while she was in the truck, you were not sure exactly which part of the truck this was?
I can't remember, Mom.
Okay. So you understood initially that when you arrived, you'd probably have to wait at the shop sometime?
Yes.
I think you referred to
Fucking
the
right,
car
Kristen.
you worked on first.
1 through 4.
Was before you?
It was actually another vehicle out there, but I don't pay my brother to work on my car, so I had to wait until he was done making his money. So I waited.
Sure. So do you know how many cars he worked on before he got to you?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you know if there were any other customers present in person?
I did see someone, I can't remember what kind of car it was in, but it was, I believe, a gentleman that needed to pull into the garage because Jarvis asked me to move my car out the way because I was blocking the garage, so yes.
Was this someone you recognized at all?
No.
So in total, other than Jarvis, or who you refer to as King, was there anyone present that you recognized that day?
No. Just King and Mom's brother.
So as you said, the sun set while you were there. Do you know about how long it was light out before it got dark?
Well, I got there about 4 o'clock. It didn't take long for it to get dark. I don't remember the exact time, but it got dark pretty fast.
Okay, and then other than when you went to the gas station, were you always at the shop?
I believe the Jaguar would have been in the shop. Because if you keep in mind, King said they was working on the thing, on the Jaguar. And he had to Google some shit to even know how to do it. Because the person who would usually give him a hand with the foreign cars wasn't available that day. So I'm thinking that, you know what I'm saying, because there is a 2-car garage when we look up at this shop. The way that I'm getting it, and let's look at it together real quick. Because Tawana, she aggravated it the fuck. From the way that I'm looking at it, I would think that if we're looking at this shop here, you know what I'm saying? Jarvis' car might have been backed up here, okay? Which means that he would have been already blocking this bay. She said, look at the arrow, that she was parallel to the street. So her car would have been horizontal to Jarvis's vertical. So I want y'all to just look at, I don't know how the camera's looking, but it would have been like this. So NAZIYAH, if she was on the passenger seat, she would have been further away from Tawana because her driver's seat would have been opposite. So to me, that would make sense that the Jaguar would have been in the bay getting worked on. And the other reason is because that's why this one right here being covered would have been the reason on why Tawana needed to move so somebody else could have got in that bay. Now, that's just the way that I'm looking at it. You know what I'm saying? I could be wrong, but we just figuring this shit out as we go along. You dig what I mean? But I'm crying because she getting pissed, nigga, because this lady making me cringe. It's like, ask the questions that's important.
What do you mean?
So did you go anywhere else?
No, I never left. All I did was move my car when he asked me to move my car. And once the driveway was clear, I back where I was. I didn't go anywhere else.
Okay. And when you were present, not going to the gas station, were you always inside your vehicle?
Yes,
Were your doors open or closed?
closed.
Okay, and were your windows up or down?
They were up unless I asked him something,
Okay, so sometimes if you needed to communicate, you just open the window.
or I would call him. Yeah. Yes.
And you were saying today that at one point you did speak to Jarvis about who this girl was.
Yes.
And when you were talking to the police about this, you had said that you weren't sure exactly what his response was.
What I said was I wasn't sure of the wording.
Sure, that's what I mean. That
Okay.
You told the police, right, that it might have been King's niece, or maybe he said it's my homeboy's niece.
He said it was his partner or King's niece, but he definitely said it was someone else's niece.
Okay, I mean, does it sound right to you that you used the term homeboy's niece with the police?
I probably did.
Okay.
It's all the same to me.
And then
It is all the same.
I think at first, right? At first, you just believed that it was someone else's niece.
Yes,
Specifically, you thought it was probably King's niece,
that's what I was told.
which I guess we established that King is the same person as Cordell, right?
Yes.
And then after that, you would listen to some of these podcasts and to the news.
I listened to his kid's mother, and then I watched the podcast.
Okay, so those are some things that happened. Both.
Yes.
And then once you started to have this different information you were gathering, then you started to look into it for yourself,
Yes.
do some of your own investigation.
Yes.
And then at one point following that, that's when you decided to go back to the shop
Yes.
to speak to Cordell
Yes.
and to discuss some of these things you've been learning with him.
Yes.
You and Jarvis are not particularly close.
I wouldn't say that we're really distant. I don't see him every day. I don't talk to him every day, but he's my brother.
Okay. He's your brother, but you don't have a very close relationship, or?
He's my brother.
Okay. What about with his children? Are you close with his children?
Some of the ones that I know.
So he has 13 kids, right?
I have no idea.
Do you have an idea of around how many kids he has?
A lot.
Now that just goes to show you how I'm trying to point out the fact that just because we're related and we're siblings don't mean that we know everything. And that is a fact. You dig? Just because we're family don't mean we do family shit. We're covering a case about that right now. Now see, here's the thing. A lot of people expect us to be family, and they don't expect for family to be the reason why somebody's unalive. Stay consistent. Stay focused. You can't expect for this woman to know this fucking man. She don't even know how many kids the nigga got. She don't know the fuck. But y'all expect for her to know that he was a monster.
Okay. Do some of them live with different mothers?
Yes.
And you don't spend time with all of them?
No.
So which ones do you know?
I don't want to say their names. They're minors.
Okay.
And I don't want to disclose their identity.
Could you just give it a number instead? How many do you know?
I'm counting.
She ready to deck the halls of balls and jolly out this bitch.
About 8.
So when you say 8 that you know, does that mean 8 that you have like personal contact with?
I have.
Okay. When is the last time that you've seen any of them?
Just for the people in the back. The lady asking these type of aggravating ass questions because she's trying to make it seem like if you don't know the children and you don't be around the children like that, how you know NAZIYAH wasn't one of his kids that was up there. That's what they trying to do. But the coat gave it away for everybody. Let's keep going.
Yeah, 2 months ago.
Were you and Jarvis raised by your grandmother?
Ooh.
For the most part.
And were there some events surrounding her death that related to your relationship with Jarvis that impacted some things?
No.
Here's the thing I want to tell you guys about how a dirty dick nigga is. And how a motherfucker who do not have no respect for people. Well, it probably took a lot for her to have to testify against her brother because at this point, you got genetics and then you have a moral compass that you should follow. A child being hurt trumps any relationship that we have in this world, and you would just hope that any human being would be honest about that, right? But here's the thing. For this lady to be asking questions about their grandmother means that not only did you drag your sister into this shit by being the scum of the fucking earth that you are, you're also using mechanisms against your own sister to make it seem like she has a vendetta against you. See, this nigga would have had to tell his defense attorney, man, my sister just motherfucking testifying because she's still mad about some family shit. This is what happens. And this lets you really know the character of a motherfucker. So when a lot of people thinks that she would have known certain shit, she don't even know that her brother is a fucking monster. And let me show you something. I want you to look at her face. Because today is a day that she's finding out how fucked up her brother really is. Okay? And see, I don't want y'all guys to just listen. Look at body languages. He's a scumbag. He's the scum of the fucking earth. He is worse than you can get it. So if he don't give a fuck about said sister, said daughter, that nigga don't give a fuck about no one. And that's a fact. That's a Fendi.
And were there some events surrounding her death that related to your relationship with Jarvis that impacted some things?
No.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Can you redirect?
Yes, Judge.
This was the look when she looking at him directly. Nigga, for real? Look at her. See, y'all gotta understand, she talking to this nigga quiet. She can't believe this nigga will bring some shit up like this. I'm telling the truth. I'm fighting for this baby, and you want to say some hoe ass shit like this? This what you gonna do? Now listen, there was a reason that her and her brother fell out, and I'm not gonna disclose that. You dig? And he's a scumbag. This woman had to take care of her grandmother in her days. And while she was doing that, he was doing some of the most vile shit a human being can ever do. And that's a Fendi. This is terrible shit. Terrible work. Look at her. She telling you. Nigga, she want to talk to this. She want to say something to this nigga so bad.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Can you redirect?
Yes, Judge. Ms. Butts, you said that there was another reason, there was a different reason that you thought that it was NAZIYAH that you had saw that day.
The question was, do you and your brother not really have a relationship because of things surrounding your grandmother's death? Okay. That was the question that was asked or whatever like that. And he only did that because he's trying to paint a picture for his defense. Hey, my sister only here testifying that she seen this girl because of this, yada, yada. He needed a reason for her to be able to come up here and testify, being that that's his blood sister. It gotta be something. It gotta be a reason why a sister would do that to her brother. That's the tactic they trying to use. They are some stinking bitches.
When you were starting to compile, or when you talked to Shannon Harris, and then you got the podcast, before that you said there was other reasons why you had thought that was NAZIYAH.
So,
I mean, I get it. I mean, they do got to have some type of relationship, but I'm going to be honest with you, too. I got a brother named Vinso, a god brother named Vinso who live right here in Atlanta. I can't make this shit up. 3.5 years I've been here. You know what I'm saying? I probably seen him twice. The 2 times that I seen him is because he's the shit when it comes down to putting shit together. I called him yesterday because I need something else put it together. So that relationship could be like her relationship. She calls her brother when she want her car fixed for free. We all got the plugs that we call accordingly. So even though somebody might be doing something for us, does not mean that there's a relationship there. It means that we want to save some money. And this is the person that we go to. Simple as that.
Am I?
Yes,
can I speak for
what is
okay,
that? Yes.
So, at the time, I didn't know. Once I realized that it was a possibility that I saw her, there were several reasons that led me to believe that it was a possibility that I was there. And I didn't want to get into detail as far as what I knew before the podcast. But if you would like, I would explain to you why I thought these things.
Yeah.
So to you.
Can we approach?
Boy, I wish we can get into that. Now that's the type of question. See, Tawana, you helping us. They ain't asking no question. Please get into why you was having some type of feeling before the podcast and them folks was sending some shit. Now that's the type of shit I want to know. This other shit they talking about and all of that, grandmamas and kids. Nana didn't have nothing to do with this nasty nigga. Shit, asking about Nana.
Yes. We'll be right back.
Yes, she did know what Jarvis went to jail for the first time. And here's the story of a lot of men in America. Now, could she have done her due diligence? Who knows? I'm pretty sure a seed was planted, and that probably spoke to what she was going to tell us, but until they had to go in the chambers. But she did. She was aware that Jarvis' first bid was with a minor. She knows that. The explanation that she got from her brother, along with other members in the family, her brothers and shit like that, he told her that it was a matter of, she lied about her age type shit. That's what was painted. It wasn't any details. She tried to speak to the person, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, who the case was surrounding, and that person did not communicate with her from what I've known. You know what I'm saying? But yes, she did know about his charges the first time. She did. Shank! Shank, get some funky ass people around here, bro. They funky as hell. Oh, my heart breaks for her. My heart breaks for her. And for the people who wants to know, I want you guys to understand that Jarvis will be facing the right of her. She's saying sorry to NAZIYAH's family. I know for a fact that Roxy and other members of the family is the ones that's on the left-hand side. So when she's saying, I'm sorry, she is speaking to the family. I want us to keep in mind the direction of the court. She's not talking to her brother at all, okay? I want that to be very, very clear because this lady heart is fucking breaking on this stand. And you know what? I never seen Annette or Shannon like this. So when I call them funky bitches, I stand on it. I stand on it. I wish the cameraman would move this just move this thing a little bit more so you can see NAZIYAH's family over here with the t-shirts, because they was in that motherfucker big heavy. I watched this motherfucker so much to where I know where everybody was placed. You dig? On God. When she did that face thing, like, nigga, really? She was looking at Jarvis. When she said, I'm sorry, and started getting very emotional, she's looking at NAZIYAH's family. I want you guys to pay attention to the small shit, because a lot of people be thinking just because people are related that they're in cahoots. And I be goddamn. I don't give a fuck if my fucking brother or sister was born 2 minutes before me. They do some shit like this, I'm telling on they funky asses. I ain't lying. I am her. I am her. She is me. Shit. He can't even look up at his sister because he know he did her wrong. And he know the truth. The only person he looked up at was Shannon. His sister's on a stand fucking bawling her eyes out. He didn't look up not one time. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the dirty motherfucker that I've been telling y'all about. Is that the judge talking to her? Huh? Because I can read the judge too. This whole trial, I've been able to know what the judge been feeling. And that's a shame. That's a shame. This nigga here, man, y'all ain't doing, the culture ain't doing right. He should have supposed to already have about 18, 20 pieces in jail. Girl, he ain't writing shit. He trying to act like he writing something so he don't have to look up at his sister to be able to, because he's a fucking coward. Motherfucker ain't writing shit. He can't look at her at all. Even the cameraman knowing. That's why he plastered on him. This nigga here's a scum. Look at the cameraman. You ain't gonna look up at your sister? That's what he feeling. Look. He looks up and still don't look at his sister. Look, he glanced right there and look. Bitch ass nigga, you. And from his look, it looked like he more mad that she on there testifying against him. Look at his eyes. Look. You see how he rolled his eyes? He mad at her, y'all. Pay attention to this body language shit, because it's right there in y'all face. Nigga he ain't getting his cheeks clapped. That nigga out there living his best life in the pen. Them niggas ain't doing nothing to him. This shit pisses me off so bad.
Okay, we are back on the record. Ms. Butts, you are still under oath. Ms. Rip, you go right ahead.
Thank you. So, Ms. Butts, what's the sources of these reasons that you have? Are these things that you know from your personal knowledge? Are these things that you observe yourself?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Repeat that.
So these reasons that you were thinking of, what are the sources of them? Is it somebody told you something? Is it something that you saw yourself, you observed, or a coupling of that?
I would say a bit of both.
Okay.
Things that I was told and things that I heard.
Okay. Were there heard from Jarvis?
No.
Okay. Were these things that you had already known prior
Prior to,
to thinking that was Naziah that you saw?
I'm sorry, I'm confused on the question.
So are these things?
Pisces, disagree with what? I mean, because I know this goes a little bit behind. I don't know what you disagreeing with. Just tell me in the comments. And it's cool. We can disagree. You know, for real. Like, it's okay, sis. But I will love to know about, oh, you think he getting touched? Oh, shit. Okay.
The sources that you have for these reasons.
Some of us content creators have been in contact with niggas who's in the jails, and Jarvis is not being touched at all. Complete opposite, in fact.
Things that you have personal knowledge of, or are they things that somebody told you about?
These were things that I was told. I'm trying to understand the question that you're asking me.
Ms. Rip, you're referring to the question before we went into sidebar about her leading up to believing that it was possibly Naziah Harris at the shop, correct?
Yes.
Does that help clarify
Okay.
the line of questioning?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so those reasons, those things, are those things that you had known before? Are they based on your observations, or?
Well, these were things that I was told. And after asking the questions that I needed to ask, I came up with the conclusion that it was a possibility that Naziah was the little girl that I saw that day.
Okay, thank you. You said that when you were parked at Jarvis's shop that it was getting dark out.
Yes.
Okay. That darkness, is that maybe the reason why the color on the jacket stood out?
Well, the jacket didn't stand out until I was walking into the gas station behind her because I wasn't really like paying attention to what she had on. I just kept seeing her get in and out of the truck, going in the gas station and coming back to the truck, and that's what caught my attention.
Okay, so the movement is what attracted you to it at first?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Jussie, you're done, sis?
You know, that's some heartbreaking shit. I ain't even gonna hold you. So many things that is wrong. I mean, don't nobody never really want to be in a position to where they gotta be in that type of situation. Like for real, for real. I'm trying to word this right. Sometimes we be up under the we have in our brain what sayings used to be, or you know, we kind of go based upon old customs and the way things used to be. People be under the impression like when niggas like Jarvis, you know, pedos and certain people, when they get in jail, that they're gonna be met with a certain type of energy. And I'm just here to tell y'all that sometimes these type of niggas, the pedos, don't get pressure like you think. And you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that not this particular case, but like that serious. Jarvis, my nigga, commissary has stayed full. Nobody has bothered this man. And that's just all I'm trying to say about that type of shit. We cannot be. All right, here's the thing. Some of us is at an age, right, where we were growing up when certain codes and etiquettes were met. Okay? We used to live in an era to where women and children was not harmed. Okay? We used to live in an etiquette to where When I say no snitch, no talking was done. We used to live in an era where people would commit crimes by themselves just because of that. Now, see, you got to transfer yourself to 2024. Now, even though some of us was raised on these virtues, I want you to understand that these niggas were not. So the etiquette, the rules, the way that we would have done things are completely different now. Some of the shit that would have never happened when we was growing up is happening now. And I want you to also understand that those type of people are now being rewarded. They can be just as famous as a nigga that's doing things morally correct. Prime example. We all followed the young thug trial. Okay. We used to live in an era where snitching or telling was not existent. Okay. Now let's look at it. I met the nigga Woody. I met him. What he's doing now in his life is great. But let's also be clear. His testimony is what got Young Thug on trial in the first place. His testimony was the reason why they even had a RICO charge. It doesn't matter. But because he got on the stand and he made y'all laugh, and I didn't recall, I don't recall, we ha, and guess what? He became famous for being what we used to look at as the worst nigga in the world for telling. I'm going to take it a step further. You feel what I'm saying? Not only did we big him up, we made him rich. He's doing a great thing now with children and advocating, but I'm just trying to explain to you how things are different. So we think that Jarvis and everybody in jail has heard what Jarvis has done, and we thinking that some of the men out that motherfucker is gonna see him when he was in PC, you know what I mean, and do something to him. Do you not know that them same men will be playing chess with Jarvis like he never hurt a 13-year-old? Don't give these niggas in jail a lot of credit. That's just all I'm trying to explain, bro. We live in a different day now. Okay? We live in a completely different day. So certain things ain't being done, y'all. I'm just being honest as fuck with y'all. That's all I got to say. And look. Let me show you how fucked up the world is. Here we are. We're covering a trial right now where people are saying, I don't recall, and it's pissing us the fuck off. But Young Thug and Woody, he got famous by saying the same words. See, y'all gotta be consistent. See, this is the shit that scared me with life. Because guess what? Y'all will be in the jury box. Because who fill up that jury? We do. So the ways of thinking of people these days scare the shit out of me. Because there's certain things that y'all approve when it's convenient. Now, argue with your mamas. That's just all I can say about that shit. Argue with your mamas. And again, I want to say, the opinions on this channel is only mine. Like, nobody got to think like me at all. But I'm sorry, you guys. I'm always going to put the realistic spin to it. So, I'm just being real. Y'all laugh when Woody was on the stand saying, I don't recall. Nigga, there was memes 50 times to Sunday. Y'all ain't mad at them. It did get turned around to be mad at the goddamn police was saying the same shit. Make it make sense. That's why we don't know how to go after. Because y'all niggas be wishy-washy than the motherfucker, bro. And that's a fact, Jack. Look, you guys. This video is done.